Alright, what is going on, guys? My name is Leon Master. Welcome back to another Overwatch League news video. And today, guys, we actually don't have that much to talk about today, but the things we are talking about are honestly pretty huge, so it's worth making a video that may end up being short. I don't know how long the video is going to be, so let's go ahead and talk about the big things that has happened today, which is obviously the NYXL officially announcing their DPS and also Paris Eternal announcing their head coach. So if you did not see, and we're going to go in by one talking about these players, the NYXL have announced their 4 DPS players. Yes, 4 DPS players, and those 4 DPS players are Feather, Ivy, Flora, and also Gwangboong. We all knew about these 3 because they were previously leaked from Halo of Thoughts. He actually did leak Flora like a couple hours earlier before they actually released this, so he actually got every leak right, I'm pretty sure, with the NYXL, so good to Halo about that. And when it comes to these players, I honestly think the DPS area for the NYXL is looking really stacked with these 4 players they picked up. To start it off at the top, we have Feather, a flex DPS player, coming in for the NYXL, and I definitely think Feather will see some playtime on this roster. I think the better flex DPS is obviously going to be Ivy. What we saw of him on the Philadelphia Fusion was outstanding of his play throughout the entire season on the Philadelphia Fusion, really surprising. But Feather, a flex DPS, he plays almost the same heroes Ivy does, but Feather also can play a little bit of hit scan. For example, he can play some Sombra, and he could definitely come in for those moments. If there's a hardcore Sombra meta at some point of hero pools, Feather can come into that and play over Ivy at some points. And also Feather may be better at some heroes compared to Ivy when it comes to scrims and also just the environment around him. So Feather may end up seeing some playtime, but I will definitely not see a lot of the playtime over Ivy. I definitely think Ivy, now let's talk about Ivy, will probably be the main player playing probably 80 or 90% of the time for the NYXL. Ivy was a dominant factor for the Philadelphia Fusion all season long for the Philadelphia Fusion. We did not expect that, honestly, to come through, especially for his performances on the Toronto Defiant. He comes into Philadelphia Fusion. We all thought he was going to be a sub, over EQO. We all thought EQO was going to start all season, but no, Ivy comes in. Ivy dominates under the coaching staff that team had, and also the team environment that Philadelphia Fusion had. It really helped Ivy be that player we all thought he was going to be on Toronto Defiant. He brings that to the Philadelphia Fusion. He does a great job of all the DPS he plays. Hanzo, Mei, some Genji. He has a really good playstyle that fit the Philadelphia Fusion. Now he's going to bring that to the NYXL, and I think he's also going to fit the exact same playstyle I think they're going to have with Ivy. I think they actually probably built around Ivy in some sort of way. Also with Jonak. They obviously built around Jonak the most. That's why they kept him. He's a big factor of the NYXL, and Jonak probably did a good job with Ivy, maybe in trials possibly. Ivy and Jonak probably were the main people they're probably going to build around. They probably got Ivy pretty early on in the offseason. They're like, alright, let's build around Ivy and Jonak pretty early on in the offseason, and they got these players on top of that. Ivy is such a great pickup. Gonna be a nasty player next season. Hopefully he does better this season compared to last season, but it's going to be very hard for that to happen. The coaching staff has not changed on the NYXL. It may be the exact same results, or maybe even worse with the NYXL this next season. So hopefully NYXL does a little bit better this next season. Then up to the next pickup, it is Flora, and Flora is a main hit scan player. Majority of the time plays hit scan, and this is going to be an interesting one. I haven't watched Flora that much, but he does seem like a solid player. I definitely don't think he'll get more of the playtime over Gwangboong. There will definitely be, obviously, like with things we're seeing a lot this offseason, is double hit scans, kind of like double flex support, because we ran into a lot of that in last season with hero pools. Obviously, every team's looking for double flex support, every team's looking for double hit scan metas type roster they're trying to build around for hero pools just in case. Also on top of that, with Overwatch 2 potentially coming out for the next Overwatch League season, don't quote me on that just yet, but Flora comes in, main hit scan player, pretty flexible in all the hit scans, but all around I definitely think he's mainly there for a double hit scan meta. I definitely think he's a good player. He can probably be Overwatch League level. I haven't really seen enough of him just yet, but when I see a player who's a hit scan player, and I know Gwangboong is really good after what I've seen, I definitely think this Flora is there for a double hit scan. Could potentially come in over Gwangboong in certain maps, and maybe he's better on some heroes compared to Gwangboong, just like Feather with Ivy, like I said earlier. And Feather may be that main Sombra player, and Flora may be that Tracer, maybe that Widowmaker kind of player. And let's talk about Gwangboong now. Gwangboong is a really good hit scan DPS from Team Cat. I've seen a lot of his highlights, some games I have seen, and Gwangboong has really impressed me the most out of all of these DPS pickups. Obviously, Ivy is an obvious one, but when it comes to new players, Gwangboong is definitely up there with his hit scan play. I definitely think he'll bring in a lot to this team. A lot of people are honestly kind of ignoring what I'm seeing. I'm checking around a lot of the community. A lot of people aren't really talking about Gwangboong as much as I thought they were, or they should, I should say. They should definitely talk about Gwangboong a lot. I know a lot of people in my Discord talk about him because he's going to be good. Some of you guys in the comments talk about him. I definitely think Gwangboong should be talked a little bit more because Gwangboong honestly has the potential to play on that top hit scan play with the Widowmaker, with the Ashe. Just all those hit scans that is known to be played majority of the time in the Overwatch League, like the Widowmaker, like the Ashe, maybe some McCree here and there. I think Gwangboong can potentially live up to those expectations and probably play around Aunt's level, maybe Glister level. Don't quote me on that just yet. Maybe I have a little bit too high expectations. But Gwangboong can definitely play at that high standard we may all think he could. And all around, I gotta say that ended off, NYXL has honestly made a somewhat good offseason. Obviously, it's not probably the best. It won't win them the Overwatch League. May not even get them that far in playoffs if they do make it. But they needed to change something. They needed to change something to see if they could build around someone new, get somewhere maybe even different. Maybe this roster will take them farther than previous seasons. You know, they haven't really gotten as far as their Season 1 days. You know, Season 2, they didn't get as far. Season 3, they really didn't get as far. They needed to change things up, and, you know, they had to change a lot. They had to change tanks. They had to change supports. They had to change DPS. Go somewhere new. Obviously, money could be an issue because of COVID, and that had to be a big reason why NYXL had to change the roster. And I definitely think there is some potential here with the NYXL roster. You have Gwangboong and Ivy, probably going to be the main DPS line for this team. Also, you have Gwangboong and Bianca. I think there's a lot of potential these two honestly have with Gwangboong and Bianca. You know, Gwangboong has been insanely good in contenders, improved a lot since Toronto Defiant, and a lot of people still know him for his Toronto Defiant days, which we should honestly all forget. He doesn't play like that anymore. Maybe he has a few sprinkles of that, but not there anymore. Bianca has done a great job also when he was on XL2 Academy. He performed really well at a high level, and also when we did see him play in the Overwatch League, was also really good, if not better than Hoppa at many points he came in. So Bianca Gwangboong has some potential. We just need to see it come through. And Jonak and Friday, I will say I am probably worried about this the most. I know Jonak's a fantastic off-sport player, or flex-sport, whatever you say, but Friday really worries me because I've seen a lot of in-the-middle things, especially with what I've watched. He's kind of in the middle, kind of solid, kind of alright, but maybe I'll get proved wrong. Also, Friday's going to be playing with these players. Keep that in mind. Friday's playing with these players, and also the NYXL coaching staff, which we can talk about the coaching staff all day. Not good, good. I say it's good enough to be in the Overwatch League that will take them decently far compared to other teams that coaching staff does. Obviously, when it comes to changing things, I definitely think they should change the coaching staff. Maybe they still will. We don't know, because that coaching staff has been there for a hot minute now, and they've gotten progressively worse throughout each season. So maybe the coach staff needs to change, but maybe this is their last season to make a move for the coaching staff, and they'll see if they do good or not. They'll press, you know, the team. But we'll see what goes on with NYXL later on. But definitely I am impressed with this team. Then on to the final thing that I said will make or break the Paris Eternal. They have announced their new head coach coming in. It is Getamazed. And, you know, we're all thinking, who is their head coach going to be? Is it going to be Fact Fiction Gods? Or, you know, a lot of other coaches that are really well known in contenders. And it is Getamazed, which I think is honestly a really good head coach to get for this team. Getamazed has actually had a lot of solid results coming through in contenders. You know, I'd say recently it's been rough, but all around he has been putting up good results nonstop, pretty consistently in contenders. So I definitely think Getamazed can bring something to this team. Is there potentially better coaches? Absolutely, but Getamazed may be the only one they could have gotten. All around, I do think Getamazed is probably the best coach they could have gotten. He definitely brings a lot to the teams he's going to. It sucks that he won't have assistant coaches, which is really going to be tough for this team so far. It kind of looks like they are fully done. You know, Avala did a tweet last night before this actually happened that they were 90% done at the roster, or 90% done at their team, I should say, and it was just one more blanked out, and Getamazed is that last one. So it's going to be interesting to see. No assistant coaches is going to be really hard on Getamazed, and also really hard in the team in general, because, you know, you need assistant coaches for that extra stuff the head coach can't do, and the head coach is going to be probably stressed a lot. Getamazed is going to get stressed a lot this next season, not having any other coaches beside him. Hopefully they do get more coaches throughout the season. So far, it really looks like they are officially done with these off-season, and it sucks to see that, because I really think they could upgrade maybe some other areas, especially the coaching staff. I love Getamazed. Getamazed is a great coach, but like I said already, they definitely need more coaches. It can't just be Getamazed. I'll feel so sorry for him. He's going to get so stressed. And who knows, maybe he can definitely deal with it and coach these players under that circumstances, and maybe he'll do such a good job. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed all the news we talked about today. What are your guys' thoughts on the new DPS for the NYXL? And also, what are your guys' thoughts on Getamazed on Paris Eternal? Do you think it's a great coach for the Paris Eternal team, or do you think they could have gotten someone completely different for this team? Maybe some better coaches all around. Who do you think should be a new assistant coaches for this team? Because I definitely think he needs assistant coaches. It can't just be a one-man job. If you guys want to stay more in tune with Overwatch League news and Overwatch League stuff in general, don't forget to subscribe down below. Also, don't forget to join my Discord down below as well. And don't forget to follow my Twitter and my Twitch. And don't forget to hit that bell. And don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe down below. And I'll see you guys on the next one.